What if I told you that the most shocking betrayal in WWE history is about to be answered with the most devastating alliance ever formed? Picture this: Roman Reigns, the dethroned tribal chief, standing in the shadows, plotting his revenge. But he's not coming back alone. Whispers from backstage sources suggest he's assembling a new Shield, one that includes Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, and either the returning Jon Moxley or the explosive newcomer Zilla Fatu. This isn't just about reclaiming a championship. This is about systematic destruction of Seth Rollins' Vision faction and Paul Heyman's web of lies. By the end of this video, you'll understand why WWE Clash in Paris 2025 could witness the most earth-shattering return in wrestling history, and why Crown Jewel might never be the same. I'm about to reveal exclusive details that will change how you see the entire WWE landscape. Stick with me because what's coming will blow your mind. Today we're diving into a conspiracy so deep, so calculated, that it could rewrite the entire future of WWE. We're talking about Seth Rollins defending his World Heavyweight Championship at Clash in Paris in what appears to be a routine Fatal 4-Way match. But beneath the surface, a storm is brewing that could unleash chaos unlike anything we've seen since the original Shield's dominance. Here's what we're unpacking today. First, I'll break down the Fatal 4-Way match at Clash in Paris and why it's the perfect setup for what's coming. Then, we'll dive into Roman Reigns' burning vendetta against Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, a betrayal so personal it demands blood. Next, I'll reveal the mind-blowing rumors about the new Shield formation and why it makes perfect sense. Finally, we'll explore what this means for Crown Jewel 2025 and the future of WWE. This story has layers that go back years, and by the end, you'll see connections that will make you question everything you thought you knew about WWE's current landscape. Let's dive into the chaos. Let's set the scene for what could be the most important match of 2025. Clash in Paris, August 31st, isn't just another premium live event. It's the powder keg that's about to explode. Seth Rollins walks into this Fatal 4-Way as the World Heavyweight Champion, but he's carrying more than just gold on his shoulders. He's carrying the weight of every enemy he's made, every bridge he's burned, and every alliance he's destroyed. The match itself is a masterpiece of storytelling. You've got Jey Uso, the Heat Master, who earned his spot after that incredible victory over Dominic Mysterio on the August 4th Raw. Jey's not just representing himself, he's representing everyone who's been screwed over by the Vision faction. His high-flying style and crowd connection make him dangerous, but more importantly, he represents the heart that Rollins has tried to crush. Then there's LA Knight, the megastar, who clawed his way into this match by pinning Braun Breaker in that 6-man tag on August 8th SmackDown. Knight's BFT isn't just a finishing move, it's a statement. Every time he hits it, he's proving that no matter how much political maneuvering happens backstage, pure talent and determination can still break through. His journey to this match represents everything that's right about professional wrestling. But the real wild card is CM Punk, the best in the world, still seething from Rollins' betrayal at SummerSlam 2025. Remember that night? Punk had just defeated Gunther in what should have been his crowning moment. The crowd was electric, Punk was celebrating, and then Seth Rollins, the man who claimed to be injured, who had been walking around on crutches for weeks, suddenly dropped those crutches and delivered the most devastating curb stomp in recent memory. It wasn't just theft, it was character assassination. Punk's promo on the August 8th SmackDown wasn't just angry, it was prophetic. When he said, "Seth, you can run, you can hide behind your vision, but eventually, the best in the world always gets what's his," the crowd erupted because they knew he was right. Punk doesn't just want his championship back, he wants to expose Rollins for the fraud he's become. The no disqualification stipulation makes this match even more dangerous. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed will undoubtedly interfere, but here's what most people aren't considering: what if their interference backfires? What if their presence in the match creates the perfect opportunity for someone else to strike? Seth Rollins might retain at Clash in Paris, but victory could be his downfall. Every successful defense makes him more confident, more arrogant, and more vulnerable to what's coming. Paul Heyman's schemes have worked so far, but they've also created the perfect storm of enemies. And storms, as we know, eventually break. To understand the depth of Roman Reigns' vendetta, we need to go back to that night after SummerSlam 2025. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, was ambushed on Raw by Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. But it wasn't just an attack, it was a systematic dismantling of everything Reigns represented. Bronson Reed didn't just assault Reigns, he stole his custom Jordan Spizzix, dubbing himself the Tribal Thief. Think about the symbolism here. Those weren't just shoes, they were a representation of Reigns' status, his legacy, his connection to the Anoa'i family dynasty. When Reed put those shoes on his feet, he wasn't just mocking Reigns, he was desecrating everything the tribal chief had built. But the real betrayal came from Paul Heyman. The Wiseman, the man who had stood by Reigns through his most dominant period, had orchestrated this entire scheme. Heyman's pattern of betrayal is becoming clear now. In 2022, he betrayed Reigns for Brock Lesnar. Then in 2025, he abandoned Lesnar for Rollins' Vision faction. Each betrayal was calculated, designed to position Heyman with whoever he believed would give him the most power. What Heyman didn't calculate was the psychological impact of his actions. Roman Reigns isn't just angry, he's been awakened to a truth he should have seen coming. Every time Heyman whispered in his ear, every piece of advice, every strategic decision was building toward this moment. Heyman wasn't serving the tribal chief, he was studying him, learning his weaknesses, preparing for the day he could use that knowledge against him. The silence since SummerSlam hasn't been Roman Reigns retreating, it's been him planning. Sources close to WWE have reported that Reigns has been in constant communication with several high-profile wrestlers who share his hatred for Heyman's manipulation. The August 8 SmackDown gave us a glimpse of what's coming when we saw that brief moment, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk standing together in what looked suspiciously like a Shield formation. That image sent shockwaves through social media because it represented something unprecedented. Three of WWE's biggest stars, each betrayed by Paul Heyman in different ways, potentially uniting for revenge. Lesnar was abandoned when Heyman jumped to Rollins. Punk was screwed out of his championship moment. Reigns was systematically destroyed and humiliated. But here's what makes this vendetta so dangerous. It's not just personal anymore. Roman Reigns has realized that Paul Heyman's betrayals have created a pattern that threatens the entire locker room. If Heyman can betray the tribal chief, if he can abandon Brock Lesnar, if he can orchestrate the theft of CM Punk's moment, then no one is safe. The Anoa'i family doesn't just seek revenge, they seek justice. And justice, in this case, means the complete and total destruction of everything Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman have built. The Vision faction thinks they're untouchable, but they're about to learn that you can't build an empire on betrayal without eventually facing the consequences. The rumors surrounding the new Shield formation aren't just wishful thinking from wrestling fans, they're based on legitimate backstage intelligence and a series of events that make perfect sense when you connect the dots. Let's break down why this alliance is not only possible but inevitable. First, consider Jon Moxley's situation. The former Dean Ambrose, the heart and soul of the original Shield, has been watching WWE from AEW with the eyes of someone who knows exactly what Seth Rollins is capable of. Moxley's AEW contract situation has been the subject of intense speculation, with Wrestling Observer reporting that his deal might be nearing its end. But more importantly, Moxley has never forgotten Rollins' betrayal of the Shield in 2014. In a 2024 Sports Illustrated interview, Moxley made a statement that now seems prophetic. If I ever return to WWE, it would be to remind Seth Rollins that some betrayals can never be forgiven. The new Shield would be his funeral. At the time, it seemed like typical wrestler bravado. Now, it reads like a promise. Moxley's potential return isn't just about nostalgia, it's about completing unfinished business. The original Shield was destroyed by Rollins' ambition and Heyman's manipulation. A new Shield, led by Roman Reigns and including Moxley, would represent the ultimate redemption story. Moxley's paradigm shift finishing move combined with his unhinged intensity would perfectly complement Reigns' calculated dominance and Lesnar's raw power. But there's another possibility that's equally intriguing: Zilla Fatu. At 6 feet 4 inches and 250 pounds, Zilla represents the next generation of the Anoa'i dynasty. Born September 9, 1999, he's been tearing up the independent scene and is reportedly close to signing with WWE. His connection to Roman Reigns goes beyond just family, it's about legacy. Zilla's Samoan spike finishing move is a direct homage to his father Umaga, but his intensity and athleticism are uniquely his own. WWE has been looking for ways to refresh their roster with young talent who have legitimate connections to their established stars. Zilla Fatu represents the perfect opportunity to do both. The beauty of either choice, Moxley or Zilla, is that both bring something unique to the table. Moxley brings history, credibility, and a personal vendetta against Rollins. Zilla brings youth, hunger, and the continuation of the Anoa'i legacy. Either way, the combination of Reigns' leadership, Lesnar's dominance, and a third member with their own motivation for revenge creates a faction that would be virtually unstoppable. Brock Lesnar's inclusion makes perfect sense when you consider his own history with Paul Heyman. Lesnar doesn't just want revenge, he wants to prove that he's still the most dominant force in WWE. Aligning with Reigns allows him to do both while settling his score with Heyman. The psychological warfare alone would be devastating. Imagine Seth Rollins, who built his career on being the architect, the mastermind, suddenly facing three of the most dangerous competitors in WWE history, all united by their hatred for him and his advisor. The Vision faction's numbers advantage would mean nothing against the combined experience and intensity of the new Shield. Crown Jewel 2025 isn't just another premium live event, it's positioned to be WWE's answer to WrestleMania, a spectacle that demands legendary moments and career-defining matches. If the new Shield doesn't strike at Clash in Paris, Crown Jewel becomes the perfect stage for the most shocking debut in recent WWE history. Picture this scenario: Seth Rollins has successfully retained his World Heavyweight Championship at Clash in Paris, probably through the interference of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. The Vision faction is celebrating, Paul Heyman is gloating, and the WWE Universe is frustrated but not surprised. The lights dim in the arena, and then it happens, Roman Reigns' music hits. But this isn't just Roman Reigns returning alone. Brock Lesnar's music follows, and the crowd realizes something unprecedented is happening. Then, whether it's Jon Moxley's familiar entrance or Zilla Fatu making his shocking WWE debut, the message becomes clear: the new Shield isn't just a rumor anymore, it's a reality. The immediate impact would be seismic. Social media would explode, wrestling forums would crash, and WWE stock price would probably jump overnight. But the long-term implications are even more significant. A new Shield formation at Crown Jewel sets up a series of dream matches that could carry WWE through WrestleMania 42 and beyond. Consider the possibilities: a 6-man tag team match at Survivor Series 2025 featuring the new Shield against Rollins, Breaker, and Reed. But if WWE really wants to go all out, they could expand this into a War Games match, adding allies on both sides and creating the kind of spectacle that defines careers. The individual feuds that would spin out of this alliance are equally compelling. Jon Moxley vs. Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship would be a masterclass in storytelling, combining their Shield history with their current motivations. Roman Reigns vs. Solo Sikoa for Anoa'i supremacy would determine the true head of the table. Brock Lesnar vs. Braun Breaker would be a clash of generations, with the Beast incarnate proving he's still the most dominant force in WWE. But here's where it gets really interesting: Paul Heyman's role in all of this. Heyman's greatest strength, his ability to manipulate and scheme, could also be his downfall. What if he tries to turn Lesnar against Reigns mid-alliance? What if he attempts to recruit Solo Sikoa or other Bloodline members to fracture the new Shield from within? The beauty of this storyline is its unpredictability. Wrestling fans have become accustomed to seeing the same patterns repeated, but a new Shield formation breaks all the established rules. It combines nostalgia with innovation, personal vendettas with professional ambition, and individual star power with collective dominance. Crown Jewel 2025 could be remembered as the night WWE changed forever. Not just because of the matches or the surprises, but because it represents a shift in how WWE approaches storytelling. This isn't just about good guys versus bad guys. It's about complex characters with legitimate grievances seeking justice through the only means they know: total domination. Wrestling fam, we've just uncovered what could be the most explosive storyline in WWE's recent history. Seth Rollins' Fatal 4-Way at Clash in Paris 2025 might seem like the main event, but it's really just the opening act for something much bigger. Roman Reigns' return with a new Shield featuring Brock Lesnar and either Jon Moxley or Zilla Fatu isn't just possible, it's inevitable. The pieces are all in place. Paul Heyman's pattern of betrayal has created the perfect storm of enemies. Seth Rollins' arrogance has made him vulnerable. The wrestling world is ready for a seismic shift that only a new Shield can provide. Whether they strike at Clash in Paris or make their statement at Crown Jewel, one thing is certain: the WWE landscape is about to change forever. This isn't just about championships or faction warfare. It's about legacy, redemption, and the kind of storytelling that creates wrestling legends. The Vision faction thinks they're untouchable, but they're about to learn that some betrayals demand the ultimate price. Now I want to hear from you, wrestling fam. Drop your predictions in the comments. Do you think it'll be Jon Moxley or Zilla Fatu completing the new Shield? Will they strike at Clash in Paris or wait for Crown Jewel? And most importantly, how do you think this war will end? The new Shield is coming, and the WWE Universe will never be the same. Remember, in wrestling, the best stories are the ones that blur the line between reality and fiction. What we're witnessing isn't just entertainment, it's the evolution of sports entertainment itself. Before you go, here's something to think about. What if everything we think we know about this storyline is wrong? What if Paul Heyman is actually 3 steps ahead, and this entire new Shield formation is part of an even bigger plan? I've got some exclusive information about Heyman's potential endgame that I'll be revealing in next week's video, and trust me, it's going to change everything you think you know about this situation. Also, if you want to dive deeper into the psychology behind these wrestling storylines and understand how WWE creates these compelling narratives, check out the video I've linked in the description about the art of wrestling storytelling. It'll give you insights that will make you appreciate what we're witnessing on a completely different level. And hey, if you're loving this deep dive analysis style, let me know in the comments what other wrestling mysteries you want me to investigate. Should I break down the real story behind Solo Sikoa's Bloodline takeover? Do you want the inside scoop on why certain wrestlers have been absent from television? Your engagement drives the content, so speak up. One final thought before we wrap up. The beauty of professional wrestling is that it mirrors real life in the most dramatic ways possible. Betrayal, redemption, family loyalty, personal ambition. These aren't just wrestling storylines. They're human stories told on the grandest stage possible. The new Shield represents something we all understand: the need for justice when we've been wronged, the power of unity when facing overwhelming odds, and the satisfaction of seeing bullies get their comeuppance. So whether you're Team New Shield or you think Seth Rollins and the Vision will find a way to survive this storm, remember that we're all part of this story. Our reactions, our predictions, our passion, that's what makes wrestling the unique art form it is. And if you think this new Shield storyline is wild, wait until you see what I've uncovered about the secret meetings happening backstage between certain wrestlers and WWE management. That video drops this Thursday, and it's going to blow your mind. Click the video on screen now to make sure you're caught up on all the latest wrestling intel, and I'll see you there.